Hello and welcome. Imagine living your entire life feeling like something important was missing inside you. You watch others succeed while you stand still in place. Dreams feel impossible and far away always. Talents remain buried deep underground like forgotten treasures waiting. Fear controls every major decision you make daily. Sound familiar to millions of people worldwide? What if I told you that everything could change with one simple realization? What if you discovered the incredible potential sleeping inside you right now? Today, I'll share the secrets of unleashing your hidden talents and conquering your deepest fears completely. This story will change how you think about your own possibilities forever. Marcus Thompson was 35 years old and worked at a boring accounting firm downtown. Every morning, he felt like his life was stuck in concrete. His alarm rang at 6:30 sharp. He dragged himself out of bed reluctantly, put on the same gray suit daily, drove the same route to work, sat at the same desk for 8 long hours. His coworkers talked about weekend plans excitedly, while Marcus listened silently. Deep inside, he knew he was meant for something bigger and more meaningful. But fear kept him frozen in place like a statue. Marcus remembered being 7 years old and fearless about everything in life. He would build incredible structures with blocks, tell amazing stories to anyone who would listen patiently, draw pictures that made adults smile with genuine delight, sing songs loudly without caring who heard him perform, ask endless questions about how things worked exactly. But somewhere along the way, that curious child disappeared completely. Adults told him to be realistic about life expectations. Teachers said his ideas were too creative and impractical. Parents worried about his future financial security constantly. Slowly, Marcus learned to hide his dreams away. Now at 35, Marcus felt completely disconnected from his childhood enthusiasm and natural curiosity. He had forgotten what excited him most about living. His evenings were spent watching television mindlessly. His weekends involved sleeping late and running errands. He felt like he was sleepwalking through his entire existence. Friends had stopped asking about his interests because he never seemed passionate about anything anymore. Marcus knew he was wasting his life, but felt paralyzed by overwhelming fear of change. One evening, Marcus was walking through the city park when he heard beautiful guitar music floating through the air. He followed the sound and discovered an elderly man named Samuel playing for a small crowd. Samuel's fingers moved across the strings with incredible grace and skill. His voice was rich and powerful despite his advanced age. The audience was mesmerized by his passionate performance completely. After the song ended, people applauded enthusiastically and dropped money into his guitar case gratefully. Marcus approached Samuel after the crowd dispersed slowly. He complimented the beautiful music and asked how long Samuel had been playing professionally. Samuel smiled warmly and said he had only started performing in public 3 years ago. Marcus was shocked and asked when Samuel first learned to play guitar. Samuel laughed and explained that he picked up his first guitar at age 67 after retiring from a career in engineering. Samuel noticed the surprise on Marcus's face and invited him to sit on the nearby bench. He explained that for 40 years he worked as an engineer, but always dreamed of making music. Fear held him back from pursuing his passion completely. He worried about being too old to learn. He feared looking foolish in front of others. He convinced himself that musical talent was only for young people with natural gifts. But one day, Samuel's wife reminded him of something Queen Cleopatra once said about courage and fear. She told him that all people feel afraid, including kings and queens. The only difference is that brave people don't let fear show or control their actions. Samuel realized that fear was natural and could actually be helpful when used as fuel for motivation and action. Samuel explained to Marcus that every person is born with incredible potential, like a tiny seed that could become a magnificent tree. Most people never discover what they're truly capable of achieving in life. They let fear convince them to stay small and safe always. They listen to voices that say they're too old, too young, too inexperienced, too whatever, to pursue their dreams passionately. Marcus asked Samuel how he finally found the courage to start playing music publicly. Samuel explained that he reconnected with his inner child first. He remembered being 8 years old and singing freely without self-consciousness or worry. Children approach everything with amateur enthusiasm and excitement. They don't worry about being perfect or professional from the beginning. They just dive in head first with curiosity and joy. Samuel told Marcus that amateur enthusiasm is actually the secret to success in any field. When you approach something with childlike excitement, you're willing to make mistakes and learn quickly. You don't get paralyzed by perfectionism or fear of judgment from others. You just focus on the pure joy of discovery and improvement over time. He explained that talent is largely a myth that holds people back unnecessarily. Samuel said he wasn't born with musical talent at all. His first attempts at guitar were terrible and embarrassing. His voice cracked and his fingers fumbled constantly. But he practiced every single day, regardless of how bad he sounded. He gave himself permission to be amateur and imperfect while learning. Samuel shared that most people have two major fears that prevent them from pursuing their potential completely. The first is fear of failure and looking foolish in front of others. The second is actually fear of success and what that might mean for their lives. Both fears create paralysis that keeps people stuck in unfulfilling situations forever. He told Marcus about Henry Ford, who didn't create his famous Model T automobile until he was 45 years old. Many successful people didn't find their true calling until middle age or later in life. Age is just an excuse that people use to avoid taking risks and pursuing their dreams actively. Samuel advised Marcus to create a smart plan rather than making dramatic life changes overnight. He suggested adding small pieces of passion to daily life gradually. Give new interests a chance to breathe and grow naturally. Approach everything with childlike amateur enthusiasm and excitement. Apply current knowledge and skills to new areas of interest strategically. Samuel explained that luck doesn't really exist in the way most people think about it. Luck is simply preparation meeting opportunity at the right moment. People who seem lucky are usually those who have prepared themselves thoroughly and stayed ready for opportunities. They work hard when others are sleeping or relaxing. They develop their talents consistently over time. Marcus asked about the common excuse that money prevents people from pursuing their dreams. Samuel laughed and said that money is often the most convenient excuse people use. Throughout history, the greatest achievers didn't start with silver platters or unlimited resources. They found creative ways to work with what they had available. Being realistic is important, but being pessimistic is destructive to progress. Samuel shared a story about Ataturk and how he faced seemingly impossible challenges when creating modern Turkey. People told him the situation was hopeless because there were no resources, no support, and massive problems everywhere. Ataturk's response was always the same. Yes, the situation is difficult, but there must be a way, and I will find it somehow. He refused to accept defeat or make excuses about circumstances. Samuel told Marcus that everyone has a responsibility to become the best version of themselves possible. This responsibility extends to family, community, and country. We owe it to ourselves and others to unleash our potential and contribute our gifts to the world positively. He described the incredible energy that comes from pursuing your true potential actively. This energy makes you forget about time and food and comfort. It keeps you awake at night with excitement about possibilities. It makes you want to jump out of bed every morning eagerly. This energy is the opposite of dragging yourself through boring routines reluctantly. Samuel's words stirred something deep inside Marcus that had been sleeping for decades. He remembered the excitement he used to feel about building and creating and exploring new ideas. He realized that his childhood dreams weren't silly or impractical, but were actually clues to his true potential and purpose. Over the next few weeks, Marcus began experimenting with reconnecting to his childhood interests and curiosities. He bought a sketchbook and started drawing again for the first time in 20 years. His first attempts were clumsy and unprofessional, but he felt alive while creating them. He gave himself permission to be amateur and imperfect while rediscovering his artistic side. Marcus also started writing short stories during his lunch breaks at work. He approached writing with childlike enthusiasm without worrying about publishing or making money immediately. He just enjoyed the process of creating characters and situations that entertained him personally. His coworkers noticed that he seemed more energetic and positive throughout the day. In the evenings, Marcus experimented with different hobbies and interests that had always intrigued him secretly. He tried photography and discovered he had a natural eye for composition and lighting. He attempted cooking complex recipes and found that he enjoyed the creative process of combining flavors and techniques. Each new experiment taught him something about his hidden capabilities and preferences. Marcus realized that he had been living as if his potential was fixed and limited, when actually it was vast and expandable. He had accepted other people's definitions of what he could and couldn't achieve successfully. But now he was rediscovering his own authentic interests and natural talents through experimentation and play. After 3 months of consistent exploration, Marcus felt like he was waking up from a long sleep. His days had more color and excitement than they had possessed in years. His conversations with friends became more animated because he had interesting projects to discuss enthusiastically. His overall energy and mood improved dramatically in ways that everyone around him noticed positively. Marcus decided to take a bigger step and enrolled in an evening art class at the local community college. He was nervous about being older than most other students, but remembered Samuel's advice about amateur enthusiasm being an advantage. He approached each lesson with curiosity and excitement rather than pressure to be immediately perfect. The art instructor noticed Marcus's dedication and natural abilities quickly. She encouraged him to consider developing his skills more seriously through additional classes and practice time. Marcus felt scared, but exhilarated by the possibility of pursuing art as more than just a casual hobby. Marcus began creating a smart plan for gradually incorporating more art into his life without making reckless changes. He decided to keep his accounting job for financial stability while building his artistic skills during evenings and weekends consistently. He set up a small studio space in his apartment and committed to practicing drawing and painting daily. As Marcus's artistic abilities improved through consistent practice, he started sharing his work with friends and family members. The positive feedback surprised and encouraged him tremendously. People commented that his artwork had a unique perspective and emotional quality that touched them deeply. Marcus realized that his life experiences had actually prepared him to create meaningful art that resonated with others. One year after meeting Samuel in the park, Marcus organized his first small art exhibition at a local coffee shop. He was terrified, but remembered that fear could be used as fuel for courage and action. The opening night exceeded his expectations completely. Many pieces sold, and several people commissioned custom artwork from him directly. Marcus understood that he had spent decades underestimating his own potential and capabilities unnecessarily. He had allowed fear and other people's opinions to keep him trapped in a life that didn't reflect his true self. But by reconnecting with his inner child and approaching new challenges with amateur enthusiasm, he had unlocked abilities he never knew existed. 2 years later, Marcus was able to reduce his hours at the accounting firm and dedicate more time to his growing art career. He never completely abandoned his financial background because those skills helped him manage the business side of art successfully. He had created a balanced life that honored both security and creativity. Marcus became passionate about encouraging others to discover their own hidden potential and overcome their fears. He started giving talks at community centers about the importance of reconnecting with childhood dreams and interests. He shared Samuel's wisdom about using fear as fuel and approaching challenges with amateur enthusiasm. Many people who heard Marcus's story were inspired to begin their own journeys of self-discovery and potential development. They realized that age and circumstances were often just excuses that prevented them from pursuing their true interests passionately. Marcus had proven that it's never too late to become who you're meant to be. Marcus learned that success requires paying a price every single day through discipline and consistent action. But the reward is an extraordinary quality of life filled with purpose and passion. Those who pay this price have transformation stories that inspire others to pursue their own potential courageously. He discovered the formula for unleashing potential that changes everything completely. Fear plus amateur enthusiasm plus consistent action equals breakthrough and transformation. This simple truth guides all successful people's daily decisions and priority choices. Today, Marcus wakes up excited about each new day's creative possibilities and challenges. His life has meaning and direction that was missing for so many years. His story proves that incredible potential exists inside every person, waiting to be discovered and developed. If Marcus could transform his life by reconnecting with his inner child and conquering his fears, you can do exactly the same thing starting right now. Your age doesn't matter for positive change and growth. Your current situation is just the starting point for unleashing your incredible potential. Remember that consistent small steps create big transformations over time gradually. Reconnect with your childhood enthusiasm and natural curiosity. Use fear as fuel rather than letting it paralyze you. Approach challenges with amateur excitement and willingness to learn. Be patient, because real change takes time to develop fully. Start where you are today with what you have available. Reconnect with interests that excited you as a child. Give yourself permission to be imperfect while learning new skills. Create a smart plan that balances security with growth opportunities. Practice consistently, because repetition builds mastery over time. The world is waiting for your unique gifts and perspective to emerge through consistent effort. Your transformation starts right now with the next choice you make about pursuing your potential. Choose courage over comfort, because your future self depends on today's brave decisions and actions.